afternoon. I don't know whether it's afternoon or it's still morning from the other end. Thank you very much for granting me the opportunity to share our piece of work. As you can see from the screen, my name is Paulson Letsholo. I'm an industrial design lecturer in the University of Botswana. And my topic of presentation as shown there is roadside or informal roadside eco-entrepreneurship through design and upcycling of wooden packaging pallets. For the benefit of those who have never been to Botswana or they've never heard of Botswana, as you can see from the map there, Botswana is a landlocked country. It's surrounded by all those beautiful countries, Namibia, South Africa, and the rest. So I don't know whether being a landlocked country is an advantage or a disadvantage. You will see as we go on. From the screen, you can tell almost 2 million people. So we can't compete, we can't compare to big countries like Nigeria, South Africa. A small location in South Africa will have almost 15 million people as compared to Botswana. So why venture into this project? So my point of departure is motivated by an article I derived from one of the local newspapers, Sunday Standard. A journalist there captured or made these observations. He went about the city of Gaborone and he came across our informal wood pallet furniture manufacturers. And the statement you see on the screen there, dozens of self-taught carpenters who upcycle wood, pallets, and tires along the old Lobate Road. Those who are familiar with Gaborone, they will know that road and the old Naledi location. So he appreciated that Old Naledi is a beehive of activities of makeshift workshops owned by self-made carpenters. As you can see, those are informal sectors and they are forced or obliged to make do with whatever they have in order to make a living. And for that matter, they resorted to using wood packaging pallets as a way of producing their furniture products. So with their business, there are problems inherent in that one, because where they are operating from ungazetted or unlicensed places. So they are actually in loggerheads or in trouble with the city council or the government. They are considered to be littering the environment or causing littering the government there. So that's the plight of the informal sector or the what we term the roadside furniture manufacturers there. So when the article was shared, I think I made a mistake there. I wanted to move to this slide here. These are some of the commentary or the remarks that were made by some readers who came across the article on the newspaper. Markers, they said, they also need cheap, affordable manufacturing and warehouse facilities with proper tools. Having observed or appreciated what they are doing, thinking that maybe they are not able to optimize their production process, somebody shared that sentiment there. And the second reader, they said, these guys can make money if they are more creative. More talents need to be nurtured or groomed. So you can tell somebody did make that observation that even as much as they appreciate what they are doing at the moment, but they need to be assisted. We need to have other parties coming in to share their skills, to share their expertise with this informal sector so that we can see something promising from whatever they are doing. It would be heartless of the authorities, but these men have to be documented. they make real nice household furniture, vintage even. It is encouraging to others. So you can see people who came across this article, they had a positive commentary about what those people are doing. So, like other presenters have already shared, the distinction or the difference between recycling and upcycling in our setting this side is also very blurred. The people, they are used to recycling. When you come up with a product or you invent something using or reusing a material, they think you are recycling. So you can tell that a number of our populations, they are still new, this phenomenon of upcycling is still new to them. So I felt it's very important for me to share these definitions that I adopted from our chair today. I came across it when I was doing my research in one of the research articles she said in one of the conferences in Italy, if I'm not mistaken. So upcycling is a process in which used materials are converted into something of high value and or quality in their second life. It has so on and so forth. So as you can see, this is what is motivating us as designers, as academics, to share this knowledge with our general populations or our people outside there who did not have the opportunity to progress with their education, so that we share the knowledge that we have gained in our schools, in our institutions of higher learning, in our research, so that at the end of the day, we can be seen to be making a positive impact, positive contribution to whatever activities they are doing outside our institutions of learning. Sorry about that one. So, what are informal roadside manufacturers? These are craftspeople operating from unlicensed open spaces, making furniture from waste wood pallets, using basic traditional tools. They don't have the warehouses as echoed by the readers there. So they only rely on the basic primitive tools which are at their disposal. Upcycling pallets refers to taking the timber from old wooden pallets and turning it into something that is usable. Through this, that is what motivated or inspired me to undertake this project, so that we help them add value to what they are already producing or manufacturing through design intervention and upcycling. Because in Botswana, as you have seen, it's a small country, so Botswana is not an exception. Just like any other African countries or any other developing countries, is also going through this quagmire of poor management of landfills. Our landfills, where we throw away any material, be it plastic, be it cardboard, be it pallets, we find that those thrown away materials, they end up in areas where they were not intended to be. So they end up polluting those areas. We have animals in our surroundings, they end up consuming those thrown away plastics, and we end up experiencing some serious problems in farming. Upcycling through design intervention. So the main focus of my project is actually advocating for design intervention in the sense of employing or recruiting my industrial design students or our students in universities, so that they can forge positive collaboration with the informal sector in order to help them or to share their skills they have acquired within the four walls of the classroom. I found that collaboration very fruitful and very productive, because whenever from the experience, when I teach my students, I give them a industry-based project. Most of the time they find it very difficult to leave the campus to go and interact with the people in industry. So such an endeavor, such a venture of maybe forging collaboration with informal sector is very constructive and comprehensive, in the sense that it gives the student confidence to actually feel comfortable operating from a different environment, which from the one they are used to, which they find in institutions of high learning. And I also extended this kind of project because this has been tried in different areas in different countries such as India and Colombia, and I found it very necessary for me to also collaborate with another non-governmental organization called Young Africa Botswana. Young Africa Botswana is an NGO that is organizing an outreach program for the youth, out of school youth. So they actually bring them under one roof, a training center. So they will be tapping into the expertise or the experience from the professionals, such as designers, such as engineers, such as teachers, to come and mentor the out of school youth. So by so doing, helping our government, helping our local government in job creation and solving the unemployment problem that our government are always faced with. Again, this problem is very important, or is imperative, in the sense that it helps the informal sector to be active participants in the economy of the country, because all along we realize that all these people in our communities, our disadvantages or defranchised communities, they've been excluded from the economic activities of our countries. So as an educator, I felt the need, or compelled, to come up with such an intervention to make sure that our experience or our research input can be felt by the people that really need our assistance, so that we can, at the end of the day, we can be seen to be uplifting their living standards. So this is not only restricted to the informal sector. I've also actually encouraged my students to collaborate with other institutions, say the government-funded or government-aided schools, like our junior schools, our secondary schools, even sister universities such as Lingo, though they are our competitors. But I've encouraged my students to actually collaborate with those people, because as a landlocked country, Botswana is entirely dependent on imports. We are actually suffocated by the countries that are surrounding us. Big countries like South Africa, with big populations, with advanced manufacturing companies there. They've actually suffocated the progress in Botswana. So you find that at the end of the day, Botswana as a landlocked country, we don't have what we can call our local available material, what we can call our local indigenous material. So most of the time, any work or any project that is conducted in Botswana is entirely dependent on the material imported from South Africa, from as far as UK, from neighboring countries like Namibia or Zimbabwe or Zambia, where they do have plantations. They can actually have sustainable plantations to grow a variety of materials such as bamboo, and they can actually convert those materials to end up adding value to their furniture product. But in Botswana, it's totally different. So if we find ourselves in such a predicament, are we expected to fold our arms and say, there's nothing we can do? No. Technology has taught us that where there is will, there is always a way out. Because of the imports that are coming to Botswana, supported by the packaging made from wood pallets, we have plenty of wood pallets at our disposal. All the commercial entities in my country, they dismantle these pallets, they take whatever delicate or expensive commodities they've ordered from outside. Then where do they take the pallets to? They end up disposing them indiscriminately. So that's when the informal sector and us found the need to actually tap into that material that is coming through imports so that you can make use of it, make use to help our economy. So how do we go about tapping into the wood pallets? We can tap or add value into the wood pallets through modifying or preparing the material so that the informal sector with their limited machinery or equipment, they get assistance from the education centers, from an individual, an entity there with the expertise to help them add value to their product through design intervention. Those people, they are not trained. They depend on the traditional skills that they inherited from generations, from the past generations. So us as professionals now, we come in with our students, with our sister universities to work with these people in a positive collaboration and add value to their product so that at the end of the day, they can improve the quality or optimize the process of realizing or producing their products. So the current situation, as you can see, those are the pallets that we find in our commercial companies or commercial entities. Once they've taken whatever they've ordered, they just dump them in front of their companies, and we'll be driving there. Our informal sector will be driving there to buy or at a very nominal price or to request to be given the material so that they can make use of the material. As you can see, the informal sector, they do very minimal to add value to that. They simply dismantle the pallets and assemble them and adopt or do what we call parachute design. They simply copy already existing designs and assemble and sell those products as they are. So now it's for us as designers, as professionals, to make sure that we work hand in hand with these people. We organize workshops and seminars so that we can train them, introduce them to a systematic way of doing things, take them through the triple bottom line elements, take them through, teach them about feasibility, desirability, and any other design related terms or phrases we use that they are not used to. So as you can see, they are doing their level best. They are coming up with all those products there. But in terms of the carbon footprint, one may wonder, where exactly are you contributing in order to reduce the carbon footprint there? So if you were to expect our informal sector to buy the commercial materials like South African pie, the Miranti we know that you have used in our schools, it means those materials in terms of transportation, they come all the way from Mozambique, from Portugal, from South Africa. So if you were to adopt this approach of or sell the idea of upcycling wood pallets. More so that at the moment, our schools, they are running short of materials in their workshops. If you go to one sister university, a final year student undertaking a graduate project, what you call in other sectors, in other countries, they call them a final year design project. Each student is expected to generate 12,000 pula. I don't know how it equates to your currency. 12,000 pula in order to finance the purchasing of the materials. So if
Yes,
now,
please.
hello. So now, if we can advocate for the use of these pallets, you see that we can actually go into to bridge the gap that is already existing in our schools, our junior secondary schools, our senior secondary schools, even at university level. We are struggling with the procurement of fabricating material. So if we can make sure that we tap into the use of wood pallets, improve the quality of wood pallets there, we may end up addressing that need that we find in our local schools. So as you can see, those are some of the concepts or the products that our informal sector are actually producing, are actually manufacturing. You see, they simply take the pallets. Yes, they try to employ a bit of design there. They come up with nice shapes there, circular shapes there, but you can see the quality of the material is still not treated to achieve the quality that is desired, or it can enable them to compete with commercial entities like big retail shops. As you can see, they're also tapping from that traditional knowledge there. Somebody is trying to employ aesthetic techniques there, making use of pyrography there, using some patterns there, heating up the palette wood to achieve different color appearance. You can see with the introduction or the collaborate the interaction with the students, the knowledge that they share with them, they end up coming up with something that is promising. They end up thinking of different contexts, different setups where the palettes can be used, and how the pallets can actually be converted or laminated in order to behave more or less similar to the commercial materials such as South African pine and the Miranti we all know, solid wood. So with the intervention that was done with the students at the university level, those are some of the products that were achieved by the joint venture between the crafts people, the informal sector, and the students. And you can see somebody is now being innovative there. Rather than just using single pieces of pallets, they decided to join the pieces together so that you end up imitating solid piece of wood. And there's also now an integration of material there, a minimal use of mild steel to add strength or strong structure to the wooden pallet. As you can see, some now they are trying different ways of enhancing their products. They trying different colors in order to achieve aesthetic appeal to their business. Though it's still at an average quality of work, but we think it's a promising way of doing things. In the long run, if we continue, if we sustain the working relationship between the universities and the informal sector, we see light at the end of the channel. As you can see there, also tapping from the traditional knowledge, the chair there, you can see it borrowed a leaf from the traditional chair we find in our kotla in our traditional parliaments in the villages. So you can see now there's an element of tradition and cultural element brought into the design so that it can be shared with the informal sector. So in concluding or summing up, I will say we should be seen to be advocating by all means to make sure that our communities or our people are aware of the new trends that are taking over, the new winds, the winds of change that are coming, that are affecting us. They may be at the moment well known in the developed countries, but they are slowly and surely coming to our shores or coming to our places. So we must encourage each and every player in industry to tap into the new knowledge that is at our disposal, that our professionals like a platform like we find ourselves in today, the knowledge that is being shared by our colleagues today, we need to transfer that knowledge to our people, to all the stakeholders that are having direct or indirect interest in the production of furniture, so that they can only make use of the knowledge. With those few remarks, that is how I end my presentation. Thank you very much for giving me the audience.